Dr. Chukwemeka Wakama, and the Abia State Emergency Medical Services Medical Director. I was really impressed by what the present government has started and their initiative with regards to health care. Abia State Emergency Medical Services was actually launched in January 2017 by the Abia State Governor Dr. Okezie Ikpeazu. And his goal was to minimize the morbidity and mortality outcomes of patients who are victims of medical emergencies. There are several pre-hospital factors that really affect the morbidity and mortality outcomes of individuals who are involved in any form of medical emergencies. And by the way, when we talk about medical emergencies, I know that people always think about road traffic accidents alone. That is not correct. There are several medical emergencies happening in our homes, in our churches, in our schools, in our institutions, in the marketplace, as well as the roads. So these are medical events that causes people to lose their lives. And there are several deaths on arrivals in our hospitals because of poor management at the scene of the accident. That is why the governor decided to initiate this project, which we all applauded. And that is why I'm involved in it as well. Now, before the launch of the Abia State Emergency Medical Services, prior to this date, when there is any medical emergency, people are brought to the hospital by the buses or the back of a truck. And some injuries, especially after motor vehicle accidents, can be exacerbated by the way you handle them at the scene of the accident. And that will affect their outcome in the hospital. So, and we know that if they are properly handled when the event occurs, we might be able to save countless number of lives. And this is what we've actually achieved. And by the way, you have to know that Abia State started their emergency medical services 1 year prior to the launching of National Emergency Medical Services. So it's like he had the foresight that this is a necessary endeavor, and that is why we are involved in it. Now we have an emergency call number, and that number is 08133556900. All one has to do is to call this number in any case of any medical emergencies, whether it's a road traffic accident or whether it's somebody having an acute stroke, whether somebody is drowning, whether somebody just became unconscious or have heart failure or somebody is choking. We will respond and we will initiate treatment at the scene of the accident, and also while taking this individual to the hospital, appropriate hospital, for the severity of the injury, we will be treating the patient while we're taking them to the hospital. So those are the things we do. And before we reach the hospital, we will contact the hospital facility that we are taking this individual to know that we are bringing this kind of a case, and this is what we've done, and this is the state of the victim prior to arrival. And if we are able to, we have to tell them the time of arrival as well. So, and this service being provided by the government of Abia State is free to all, both indigenous and visitors. They are not being charged a dime for this service. So we are hoping that our citizens and any visitors in the state can utilize the opportunity to save life, which is what the government is really investing more in, which we all appreciate. Also, because sometimes it's difficult for to reach the hospitals by phone, we use trained paramedical workers. They all have been trained in the act of first responders. And we also have individuals who are physicians who are backup physicians in case they see a patient anywhere that they needed some advice on. We have physicians on call that they can call up to for them to be able to advise them on what to do. So this is actually what we do in the emergency medical service. So we are able to monitor the patients while in the ambulance. If you come over here, this monitor over here, you have the electrocardiogram. That's the heart tracing. That tells us how the heart is beating. We also have the pulse oximetry. That tells us how much oxygen content is in his body. So that if somebody needs to have oxygen supplements, we have oxygen tank over here to put the patient on oxygen. And that is going to give us a reading. Right now, because this patient is not really a patient, he's doing well. You know, his oxygen saturation is 99%. Okay, and also over here it tells us his respiratory rate, how fast he's breathing, so we can know whether he's breathing too fast or too slow. That gives us the information as well. And below that, we also have the temperature probe that tells us his core body temperature. We have other forms of monitoring that we use. Here we have the pulse oximetry that we can use to go out of the ambulance to monitor patients. We have ambu bags with this content, and this is what we can use for resuscitation, you know, outside the ambulance as well when we get to any emergencies. So we use this as we are going outside to handle patients or victims of any emergencies. So the ambulance also, we are able to put people, assist their breathing. You know, if the person is not able to breathe by themselves or they are unconscious, we can intubate them, you know, put them on a breathing machine basically. That's what that means. And then we also, if we find out that somebody is in an irregular heart, for example, somebody has what we call ventricular tachycardia or ventricular fibrillation that leads to shock. You know, we have an AED, automated electrical defibrillator, that we can use, you know, to control the heart rhythm. You know, we can shock the patient even here. If somebody has a cardiac arrest, you know, while we're taking them to the hospital, we can do chest compressions, you know, and shock here while we're taking them to the hospital. Patients who need blood transfusion, we can give them blood while in the vehicle as we're taking them to the hospital. Some of these, this is what we use, you know, to, you know, intubate somebody if we actually need to. If there's any need, if somebody is unresponsive and not breathing, we can do this and then we're able to put a tube and help them breathe with the tube while we're taking them to the hospital. So we do all those in our emergency medical services. We actually, our medical personnel are trained in the act of triaging. So when they get to the, for example, if it's an accident and they get to the scene of the accident, they will triage, you know, these patients, victims, and look at the severity of injuries. And the ambulance is meant to carry only one victim at a time. And then, but we work in coordination with other agencies, for example, ASPIMS. So they also have ambulances, and what we do is that we work together with them, and then we will be able to triage and then pick up this, you know, the most serious cases, you know, that we think, based on our knowledge, and to the hospital first, and then the other people will as well become. Sometimes in an emergency, it's just something that we can help treat on the scene, and they will be asked to go back home to visit their private physicians for further care. Not everybody needs to be taken to the hospital, but we don't want to lose anybody because they did not call. That's why we encourage all Abians and every visitor in Abia State, you know, to utilize this service that is being provided free of charge. Yes. still hoping that we can do more, and we are doing a lot of awareness programs so that people will know what we do about this service. The response time of these events has dramatically improved. We are having an average of 10 minutes to 45 minutes of response time anywhere in the state at this point in time, and this is really very good. People still may not really understand the need to give the ambulances the right of way. What does that mean? When an ambulance is coming and their lights and sirens are on, we need to give them the road, the way to move, because definitely it is an emergency. These are specialized people. We use mainly nurses who we train as first responders. They undergo basic life support and CPR training, as well as first aid training. And because they are nurses, they already have the basic knowledge. We just have to, train them and focus them on how to manage as first responders. Some people don't even call because they are worried that they will be asked to pay for this service. No, this service is free by the government at this point in time. It's very free. We'll come pick you up, take you to the hospital, and you don't pay anything for that. That's one. Two, the other challenge is that sometimes when we take these individuals, when we respond to their call, and then we try to take them to the hospital, they will refuse because they say they don't have money to pay in the hospital. But I want people to know that all government hospitals, they are supposed to treat all individuals free without asking them to pay any money first 24 hours. So when you're presenting to any government hospital or free government hospital, first 24 hours, nobody should be asking you for money. They should treat you. Then later on, they can now give you the bill, or however they do their business. So we don't want people to die because they say they don't have money to go to the hospital. We want them to survive, and then they can always work with the facility to pay their bills later on. We are appealing to well-meaning Nigerians, especially Abians, and other philanthropists to assist the emergency medical services to grow and be able to affect every area of the state by people helping. The government cannot do everything for us. Sometimes we have to help ourselves. That is why some of us are putting in our time to come and help. Not because we are really being paid for it, but it's like doing helping your people. This is the least anyone can do, and we are also urging people all over the world if they can actually come and give assistance to us. It does not always have to be money. You can give your time. We'll let you know how you can help us if we know your specialty. We would really appreciate that. That's the way to go. And then people who are able to support us financially should do that. Just donating ambulances too. If you're able to do that, that would be a very good thing to do for your state and for your people. So the government has initiated extensive training of Abians who are capable and interested in the basic life support, first aid, and CPR training. CPR means cardiopulmonary resuscitation, so that if you as an individual happen to be in a vicinity of somebody who seems to be having a medical emergency, you'll be able to identify that person. And not only identify that person, you'll be able to help that person until the emergency medical crew arrives. Okay. A change has come to Abia State. Abia State Emergency Medical Services is a service provided free of service to all indigents and visitors alike. The phone number to call for any form of emergency is 081 3355 6900. Please feel free to call for any form of emergencies that will save lives. Thank you.